limitations and safety profiles. This workshop is designed to focus on understanding the scientific basis of tissue regeneration and remodeling, types of energy-based devices, and also the surgical side of aesthetic gynecology. We are privileged to have with us esteemed panel of experts who is having the vast experience and academic contribution to this evolving field. To all the participants, I encourage active participation, critical discussion, and thoughtful critical application of knowledge gained today. As we begin, let us remember, can we have the silence, please? Let us remember, the goal of aesthetic and regenerative gynecology is not only cosmetic enhancement alone, it is about restoring physiological function, improving the quality of life, supporting tissue health, and ensuring that women transition through menopause with comfort, confidence, and dignity. With this, I once again extend a welcome to all of you and wish you a highly enriching workshop. Thank you.
Now I would like to invite chairperson for the session, Dr. Vijay Lakshmi Verma ma'am, Dr. Manisha Jain madam, Dr. Asha Agarwal to come forward, and I am privileged to invite the speaker for the first topic of this workshop, Dr. Ragini Agarwal madam, to share her views on functional, regenerative and aesthetic gynecology in midlife women. Please welcome ma'am.
And good morning, everybody. I'll be inviting the first speaker of the session, Dr. Ragini Agarwal ma'am. Ragini ma'am is Secretary, MCCon, and what I have learned about her till now, I have listened to her many times, and what I deeply feel from inside of my heart is that you are a very, very bold speaker. अभी मैडम ने खुद बोला कि वो बहुत दबंग है, and I think that is the true quality in her. So she'll be talking about aesthetic and regenerative gynecology in midlife. Over to you, ma'am, please.
दे दिया है मैंने, इसको चढ़ाया है इसने. Very good morning to all of you. Thank you, Bhopal. I was counting. Today it was my 7th visit. And such a beautiful city. जब भी आते हैं तो लेक देख के दिल खुश हो जाता है. So let's discuss this beautiful. यहाँ पे भी तो दिखा दो. कैसे चेंज करेंगे यहाँ पे देखो this beautiful super speciality of the OBGYN which was misnamed and fixed in the everybody's brain as the cosmetic gynecology. Such a demeaning word. Why we are talking about the cosmetic? What you are going to make in the urinary incontinence? What the cosmetic you are going to do? Tell me. What you are going to do in the GSM? Is there any cosmetic? Or you are providing some hardcore medical management to the problem? Friends, this word cosmetic, I am also guilty. I started 30 years back as a cosmetic gynecology. But everything with the time you came to conclusion that no, it is not what we are propagating, it is something else. So what is something else is a frag. Like your ART clinic. It's such a beautiful name. You can write frag clinic. Everybody start writing, it will be popular. Patient will ask you what is, मेरे को तो फ्रैग क्लिनिक जाना है. कॉस्मेटिक क्लिनिक के नाम से ही लोगों को लगता है कोई ब्यूटी पार्लर में जा रहे हैं, कोई ब्यूटिशियन कुछ कर रही है. एंड द योर होल एसेंस इज गॉन. What is frag is a functional urinary incontinence, vaginal laxity, they are functional issues. Regenerative, your GSM is a regeneration and then aesthetics. How many patient in the middle class and the lower middle class is going to come you for the Barbie doll appearance of the vulva? Tell me. Hardly any. But in your regular practice, even if you are not going to become a full laser clinic, patient will come to you with the urinary incontinence, vaginal laxity, and when we are sitting in the, as a midlife specialist, we are going to talk about the regeneration. Estrogen is a golden choice, yes, I agree with you. But an older woman who is not even able to bend, how can she going to apply the estrogen? The woman getting the breast cancer, whatever you say, nahi absorb hota hai, neither they are ready nor their onco is ready ever. So it is not just we are going to add a life in a midlife woman, but life added to the years is our motto when we are working as a midlife specialist. So with the blessing of God and the gratitude to one and all, I am going to talk about this. ये क्या है भैया, यहाँ क्यों नहीं चल रहा है? मैं पीछे मुड़ के बोलूँगी क्या? अजीब आदमी हो. Is it a disease? No. Midlife marks a physiological inflection point, and as life expectancy is rising, we must support women not only to live longer, but to live well. And this includes preserving pelvic, sexual, musculoskeletal, and mental health areas which are often overlooked. अब यहाँ से करूँगी. So why we are focusing on the midlife woman? Because in future, 1/3 of your OPD is going to be with the midlife woman. This is the new ART, new laparoscopy, which is you're going to experience in your OPDs. And there's a lots of health risk at this age group. And actually, when we talk about the woman around 40, 45, what we are talking about the prevention and then restoration. And after then, when we talk about the 60 plus or 65 plus, we are only talk about the maintenance. But can you maintain a building which is not strong? So prevention and timely restoration, two things is a very, very important thing. And traditional care has focused only on a symptom control, not restoration and the repair. Here come the power of the regenerative gynecology. And actually, today's woman is looking for the quality of life. Recently in a podcast, somebody has asked me, what is your passion as a doctor? So my passion as a doctor is not treating a disease, giving a quality of life to a woman. And every woman wants to live fully with the vitality and the intimacy, because time has changed. People are getting married at the age of 60, 65. And you talk about your life is finished. So midlife women today are not defined by age, but by awareness, demand, not the longevity only, but the quality of life. And this perception shift is there in a gynecological care. See these, कहाँ जा रहे हो भाई, तुम मेरे हिसाब से चलो ना. I don't know where you are. When I am moving, you have to move na. Don't talk to anyone. So if you see these girls, tell me how old they are.
60 plus.
Yes. Most of them is 57 plus. And they are not from metro. They're from a very, very small eastern UP city. So this is today's woman, because I know one of is my sister. I was also with this thing. ये तुम्हारा ग्रुप है? कहते हैं दीदी ये मतलब नहीं, आप मेट्रो में रहते हो, हम गांव में रहते हैं, तो हम आपसे कम हैं. So midlife women today's, they are redefining life, identity and expectation. Does later marriage and evolving family timelines, second marriage and renewed partnership, live-in relationships and the personal choice, growing self-confidence and the autonomy. But the basis is the vitality, dignity and the fulfillment that you have to provide. If you are not going to provide, somebody else with a big biddi and the Fab India kapda will come and they will become the educator. And आप बैठ करके करते रहना, उनको follow करते रहना. So these are my patient. Real life scenario. Mrs. SJ, 58 years, remarried at the age of, she's 68 years, and she was remarried at the age of 59 after 16 years of the widowhood. And then she bleed after the intercourse. And now she is worried. Now Mrs. MW, 59 years, again widowed 6 years back, now wanted to live with a partner, looking for intimate, aesthetic and functional issues. She just want a partner. Okay, now I have come up my grief. I don't want to live a secluded life. Mrs. GV, 86 years, suffering from the severe dryness and the itching in vagina, unable to use the local cream. Mrs. SM, 42-year-old, is getting married for the first time in an arranged marriage and had one relationship long back, and she is very, very afraid कि वो जो है बोलेगा कि मेरे को हमेशा गलत नज़र से देखेगा. So when they are talking me कि hymenoplasty रखनी है, तो I just remember this girl. मैंने कहा रख लो 42 में के बाद भी hymenoplasty करनी पड़ती है. And Miss TJ, 40 years, want to address her unsatisfactory sex life. And Mrs. DB, 40 years, a senior director suffering from urinary incontinence after sneezing, cough and laughing. So should we, primary physician of women, address it? Does quality of life matters? Are we responsible only for disease or also for how women live from their bodies? Friends, gynecologists are the first and the often only doctors women trust. बचपन से आते हैं और वो हमारे साथ ही बड़े होते जाते हैं. Ignoring quality of life means incomplete care. If not us, then who? So this legacy of the traditional medical teaching is disease-oriented education, organ-based approach, cure-focused, not life-focused. Women are living longer, aware and educated, and they need care beyond procreation and disease management. We are trained to treat pathology. Fibroid आएगा कूद करके कर देंगे. Not lived experience. Is it justified to address these needs, or should we ignore them? That's why till you tell it cosmetic gynecology, no regulatory body is going to accept your thing. It's, what is cosmetic? How can you say she really required an operation for the labia majora? No. What is good about that? What is bad about that? But yes, these functional and regenerative choices are necessary to understand and follow. So we must listen to the patient. We must respond within the ethical medical boundaries. We must offer care beyond disease. And this is only and only this particular super speciality FRAG allows us to do this responsibly, ethically and scientifically. So it is not about vanity, not about luxury, but about dignity, function and quality of life. So midlife is no longer a decline, it is a transition. Midlife women in today's world, redefining life, identity and expectation. So how we are going to measure? We have to see the comfort, confidence, function, whatever dysfunction are we are able to address it, and their intimacy. It is not about the survival, but how she lives. The long back, NM sir has given this word as a unspoken problems. When we started around 10-12 years back, all these workshops, and for me there is a silent suffering of the woman. So vaginal discomfort, sexual dissatisfaction, urinary issues, body image distress. Is these unspoken problems are unimportant? If she is not bleeding, she is not having a fibroid, she is not having a discharge, so she doesn't get a treatment. So this is a biological turning point because of the estrogen decline, collagen loss, vascular and the neural changes. And if she wants to live comfortably, not the uncomfortably. So what we are going to address in the whole day, everybody is going to deliberate in detail on this point, from the vulvovaginal aging of the epithelium thinning, pH alteration to pelvic floor, muscle weakening, facial laxity and GSM, dryness, dyspareunia, recurrent UTI. Mild urinary dysfunction where you cannot offer any operation, and all those Kegel, they are most ineffective thing. Then there are scars, stria, painful episiotomy scars, and sexual health is a neurohormonal health. We have to address desire, arousal, and comfort. Friends, only after we started talking about this, suddenly the people who are working in the field of the sexual medicine, even sir, you will agree with me that the sexual medicine committee of the Foxys also come up after this only. Yes, we don't know, it is our domain. We will only talk about the vaginismus and the desire and the FSD. So, now you all agree that cosmetic is the wrong word? Good. So we are talking about the repair, restoration and the regeneration. Our concept is a functional, regenerative and the aesthetic gynecology, quality of life medicine. Maybe we are going to give a paper to the government to change this name in their so-called stupid NMC cosmetic gynecology. So we need the maybe sign from all of you that we want a dignity of the woman back. So this aesthetic medicine is only a all medical procedure that are aimed at improving physical appearance. But when we talk about the functional gynecology, aim to address the underlying true cause of disease, and regenerative medicine is in a field where principles are applied to restore the disease or injured tissues and the organs. So functional gynecology talk about the comfort, continence, sexual function. When we talk about the regenerative gynecology, it is tissue healing, vascular renewal and the neural restoration. And when we talk about the aesthetic gynecology, we talk about the body image, confidence and the intimacy harmony. Again, all the intimacy harmony is not fall in the aesthetic gynecology. When we talk about the vaginismus, when we talk about the pleasure shots, we are talking about the FSD. When we are talking about the FSD, we are talking about the functional gynecology. So, we have to understand the regenerative medicine, not science. It is not a fiction. Therapy are being studied and applied in the everywhere, orthopedics, dermatology, increasingly in gynecology. It is not your card blood cell, जो रख करके पैकेट में बंद करके रख देते हैं और प्रेजेंट बच्चे को एनीमिया कर देते हैं. So, where does this functional and the regenerative medicine fit in the midlife? Everywhere, from the urinary leakage to intimate discomfort, not cosmetic issue, but the function, the identity and the relationship. Let's see where. Stress incontinence, perivalian organ prolapse, GSM, vulvodynia, lichen sclerosis, musculoskeletal health, and the skin and hair health. We are going to have a separate workshop for that. So, whatever you are going to use, whether it is EBD, whether it is a stem cell, exosome, whatever, there is an inflammation control, balancing between a pro and the anti-inflammatory cytokinins, angiogenesis, extracellular matrix remodeling, and the cellular recruitment. So these are the universal pathways. आगे जाएं please. आगे जाएं. Yes. These are the universal pathways activated by PRP, stem cells, and low energy lasers. They rejuvenate tissues at the molecular level, not just superficially. Then we all know estrogen is culprit. छोड़ के चला जाता है बड़े गलत समय पे. And this estrogen only modulates angiogenesis via VGF upregulation, fibroblast activity, and the collagen synthesis, and vaginal epithelium turnover. So this decline will lead to atrophic tissue, reduced vascularity, impaired wound healing. So what we are doing? We are not against hormone replacement. It is a synergistic outcomes with the hormone replacement and the regenerative therapy. We all know with the aging there is a cellular census. So when there is a cellular census, it's very, very difficult to revive the cell. And basically what happened, there is a stem cell pool exhaustion, progenitor cell exhaustion, cell type imbalance, and there's a apparent tissue remodeling and the neoplastic transformation. So what is allowed? We have to see the regulatory bodies. When we talk about the stem cell, it is only used restricted to research, no unapproved commercial therapy, and FDA emphasis on the minimal manipulation and the homologous use. We have to have a informed consent, unrealistic expectation, specifically use of allogenic versus autologous cells and cost versus benefit. Always tell patient, whatever we are doing, still it is not under the any regulation, and it's we are doing it 10-12 years and people are getting benefit, And it's no magic wand. We are not promising anything 100%. Everything is 60-70%. It's your body what is going to have. So ideally, we should have a more of a clinical trial, and that we are speaking for last 40 years till I am in the field. We should have our data. So, but we have to tread carefully. Urogynecology and pelvic floor, which is our area, it is a solution for the stress urinary incontinence. But friends, if I tell you, it's such a wonderful thing, specifically the chair for the menopausal urgency. You give the treatment with that, 80% of the menopausal urinary urgency nocturia is gone, and patient is able to sleep properly. Now tissue engineering coming in a very big way, the scaffold-based strategy, and recently in Israel, one trachea is formed. Now it is there, it is not only in the theory. So goal is regeneration, not just support. OAB, there's a emerging therapy of the PRP, MSC modulate local inflammation, and Botox therapy and all. Then multiple pelvic floor conditions may benefit from the regenerative strategy. And sexual and genital health, of course, we are all doing and have getting a wonderful result with the laser treatment in the vagina. Then we use the fractional carbon dioxide laser, PRP injection, stem cell no. It is in the research only, although I have written because some few people have started. And there's a wonderful, wonderful result with this. Then LSA is something, even dermats are not ready to understand, not even ready to do this beautiful laser therapy in the LSA. Only once sitting, the itching is gone, pink color will come. Yes, it is a chronic disease, it will come up. You have to give a longer time immunomodulator and the steroid, but patient want immediate effect. Then for the painful intercourse and the atrophic vagina, we have in the answer that this laser therapy, PRP, and the combined protocols often yield better outcomes. You are the magician, those machines are not magician. You have to think कौन सा स्पेल कितना डालना है हैरी पॉटर की तरह, कब कौन सा आएगा, कब कौन सा आएगा. So skin aesthetics I am not touching because we are having another workshop in the detail. And musculoskeletal and the joint health also. Actually all these PRP and all were started from there only. And somehow osteoarthritis is in a midlife woman, it is more than the men. Chronic tendon energies can be healed with the biologicals. So there's an unmet need. In the sexual health remains underprioritized in the woman. SUI is still under-addressed. पैंटीज आ रही हैं कई किस्म की, उसमें वो लाइनर्स लगे हुए मोटी मोटे, आप उनको पहन लो, धो लो, फिर कर लो, लेकिन वो हम नहीं कहेंगे कि भैया आ जाओ आप ठीक हो सकते हो. एंड बोन एंड जॉइंट सपोर्ट. सो exosomes, microvesicles are coming, 3D bioprinting, gene editing is also in pipeline. So when to consider the frag option? Whenever there's a hormone restricted patient with you, refractory GSM, early osteoarthritis, chronic vulvar condition like LSA, aesthetic or intimacy concern like laxity, dryness, sexual dysfunction, patient needs the shots. To summarize, despite medical advances, many midlife women still face quality of life issue that are not routinely addressed. We need a solution that go beyond pharmaceuticals and surgery, and these regenerative tools are there to fill the void. So as we embrace innovation, we must also be a steward of the safety. Regulatory agencies are still catching up with the fast moving science. Our role is to balance promise with the prudence. Friends, it is about identifying that gap where traditional treatment is either not enough or not desirable. Regenerative tools step in where we need symptom and relief plus tissue healing. Thank you so much for patient hearing.
Thank you so much, ma'am. From symptom treatment to frag concept, from survival to quality of life, you have very beautifully put the concept forward. And you very, very beautifully set the platform for the whole workshop today. It's really, we are privileged to have you here, and especially Dr. Naren Malhotra sir also. I hope this workshop will really turn a great for today. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.